Good evening, family. Welcome to another edition of Thorough Black Talk with your sister Keisha, your brother Tad, and your brother Ashe SJ. Will be joining us shortly. Also joining us tonight will be our guest host, Brother Blacksmith, on a check-in, joining us in a few minutes as we get some things worked out behind the scenes. Glad to have all of you with us. Glad to be black and healthy once again, family. So much has been happening around the world and in the news today. But we first want to give salute to all of our queens, all of our sisters, all of our warrior goddesses, all of our God complex. Yes, indeed, Black Women's History Month. We are going to go in on some of our royal queens tonight. We're going to give some salutes tonight. I want to give a special shout out to the BK William Mackey History Club, who had me with them last night. We had a great presentation. If you missed it, you missed it. But again, soon as it's available for upload, I will make sure you all have it. We went through the history of Amy Ashwood Garvey, and the women of the UNIA, all the way down to our queen warrior sister, elder mother, Fannie Lou Hamer. It was a great presentation. We got to learn some new things about our queen mothers that we never knew before. So it was great to have everybody in the house with us. I want to give a shout out to everyone who tuned in last night. BK William Mackey History Club. Truly appreciate you all tuning in. Shout out to the Mighty Simo Tap that was in, and Dr. James McIntosh, along with Brother Brian and others, were on the check-in. Dr. Filet was on the check-in. Special shout out to our sister Tawanda Jones, and the Be More family. You know, Sister Tawanda Jones has been a catalyst for change in the way that unsavory killer cops have been getting away with murder against our people. And she has been on the front line in the city of Baltimore for quite some time since the murder of her brother, Tyrone West. So I want to give a special shout out to our queen sister, Tawanda Jones. Keep doing what you're doing, sis. We are connected. Trust and believe that. I want to also give a special shout out to all of our sisters who tune in every week. No shade to the brothers, but tonight I want to honor our sisters. And thank you all for tuning in. And those of you who share the program, who engage with the program, we truly appreciate you always. So what's up, Serious Sessions? You ready to get it? We gonna get it in tonight. Yes, indeed. You know, last night I went in about the first Mrs. Garvey, because oftentimes we don't get to hear too much about her. So I wanted to hone in on her contributions to the UNIA. And I hope I did the people well in doing that, trying to condense all of the information into a short amount of time. I think we hit on some very key points. So thank you again for tuning in. Sister Pat Patterson on the check-in, BK's finest. Thank you, sis. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed that and appreciate you tuning in always. Sister Amanettu, what's good with you? Hope all is well with you and your family. Keep pushing strong, sis. I know you've been facing some challenges, but we honor our sisters tonight. So truly appreciate you and keep pushing forward. is only, as my brother Tad always says, better days ahead. You can best believe that, sis. Um, Brother Ray on the check-in. Yes, yes, yes. BK William Mackey History Club in the building. Oh, and also Brother Ray has a library of books that he sells. And if you want information on how you can get access to those books, definitely hit us up on the DM or hit us a Facebook message or on Twitch, and we'll definitely make sure Brother Ray gets that information. Brother Ray says Sister Keisha was at her best. Thank you, Brother Ray. Always want to do my best, because as Brother Ray does on the introductions of the History Club, to our great historians that came before us. It is my duty to uphold that legacy. And so I put in a lot of hours of research and time to get it done. And then also, we are always learning and growing. I learned some things last night that I didn't know prior to me doing this research. Um, it was a great experience, and I look forward to doing a part two. So, if you want to know about that, the next 2 weeks, we will make sure that you guys get the Zoom link and join us in the next session, which is March 23rd. Buckle up. It's going to be a heck of a ride. Peace and greetings to you as well, as well. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the presentation last night, and I hope I did our Queen Mothers a great service. Brother Kev, South Kakalaki in the building. What's up, Gullah family? My people come out of South Carolina. At least my mother's side comes out of South Carolina. And I mentioned a little bit about that last night in the presentation. Um, our family comes out of South Carolina. So, it was a real touching moment for me. Doing the research on our queens, especially dealing with Fannie Lou Hamer as I connected her story to my family story. And it was really, really overwhelming for me. Sometimes when you uncover historical facts and connect yourselves to those historical facts, you can pretty much understand your direction in life, pretty much. So I hope that I am doing my family a great service. Past Saturday past, I gave a heartfelt, emotional testimony to the African American Civil War Museum on behalf of my ancestor who fought in the Civil War, Stephen Lawton. And, I hope I did the family a great service. And then we have other family members who are giving presentations as well. And so we are putting in the historical record our connections to the soil here in this country. So kudos to the family on that. So we're going to begin, family. Again, like I said last night, we talked about the sister Fannie Lou Hamer and Amy Ashwood Garvey. I am always looking for great literature, especially from a historical perspective. And I'm a member of a historical society. And so when, literary works come out, um, I try to get, what's available to us. And I happened to come across an author, a historian, Dr. Akeisha N. Blaine, out of the University of Pittsburgh. She teaches Africana Studies there, and she has written some great works, at least in my opinion. You know, I gotta say that, at least in my opinion. There is no advertising dollars spent over here, so I'm just giving you my opinion on that literary work that she produced. One of the books that she has produced is called Set the World on Fire. Um, this book is about the women of the UNIA, women of Black nationalism. Um, I think the book has been out maybe, I would say a year or so, maybe. I think I could be wrong on that, but it is phenomenal works. One of the things that I found out um, in reading this book is, the relationship between Marcus Mosiah Garvey and his first wife, Amy Ashwood Garvey. Let me see if I can add that book here. Here is the cover of the book. I hope you all can see that. Let me see if I can expand it a little bit without covering the title. I don't think so. But this is the cover of the book, and it's called Set the World on Fire, Black Nationalist Women and the Global Struggle for Freedom. One of the things that I learned in reading this book was, you know, um, when Marcus Messiah Garvey was beginning to, and before I get into this, I just want to let you all know that tonight is a follow up from last week. We had the producer of the upcoming film Mosiah join us in a discussion about the film. And tonight we are going to have the writer and the star of the film, Brother Sam, with us, um, and to give us more information on this great uh, film that's coming out and how you all can get involved in that. But I digress. So in this book, I found out that when Marcus Messiah Garvey was forming the UNIA, he wanted Black women to play a leadership role, Mayat, if you will. Um, and that was key for him. But I always wanted to know, how did it start? We know it started in Jamaica, but where? How did he get the funding? In this book, you find out all of that. Um, the first UNIA meetings were held at the home of his first wife's parents. They actually met at a literary club, if you will. She had seen him at a debate or some sort and was very impressed with him as he was with her. They began to work together. In fact, she talks about how she and Marcus Garvey would start at midnight and work until 4 o'clock in the morning, putting thin papers under the doors of people to read the Negro World. And she talks about in this book how um, the first major funding for UNIA came by way of her parents, um, which is very, very interesting. But their reunion didn't last very long. Um, Once they moved to New York, things took a turn for the worse in their marriage. And, it was a contentious breakup, if you will. So I'm going to show you a little bit of that, talk about a little bit of that. Um, I often say, if things were to go left, with me and my husband, I would never put out bad things about him. It just isn't in good taste unless he was crazy, a dope fiend, a child molester, something like that. Then there's no whole bar. But anyway, during their uh, divorce proceedings, there was a lot of slander that went back and forth. Both of them accused each other of infidelities. Um, uh, it's written in the book that Marcus Garvey referred to her as an alcoholic, and things of that nature. And you have to remember that during this time in the early 1900s, to have women in any negative light can be damaging to them forever, because a woman of virtue was everything, unlike now. But the reputation was tainted a little bit. And so I found out in the book that she later left the U.S., went to London, and then joined with some brothers and sisters there and formed another serious Black national organization in London. So, anyway, we'll get into all of that a little bit later, but I just wanted to let you all know about this book. Um, some people thought I wrote the book. I'm like, I ain't write the book. I ain't write the book. We just got the same name. Um, and it's spelled the same too. So that was it. And then she wrote another book, which is very, very good, about Fannie Lou Hamer. It's called Until I'm Free. Um, I learned so much about Fannie Lou Hamer's life reading that book. And last night I used that book, as the blueprint for my lecture, along with a documentary um, entitled Fannie Lou Hamer's America, which, in my opinion, again, there's no advertising dollars thrown this way, but I think they did an excellent job in portraying her life. I learned that Sister Fannie Lou Hamer was a victim of sexual assault. She was a victim of forced sterilization. Um, she also was, how can I say this without being, let me just say, she was tricked, if you will, into becoming a slave for, people like to call it sharecropping, but ain't nothing shared in that crop. Tricked into being a slave at the age of 6. She didn't know that she had the right to vote, excuse me, until the 1960s. So that's crazy. But she also discusses, the poverty that she endured in Mississippi. Growing up, knowing hunger, knowing what it's like, to eat dirt. Her children, I found out, were all adopted. She couldn't have children because of this forced sterilization, which really touched me in a way. And I started to look at her, in a different light. I always loved Fannie Lou Hamer, but this literary work allowed me to see, exactly um, her pain, if you will. You can understand why in various reels or video reels that you may see of Sister Fannie Lou Hamer, why she was always um, forceful in her approach. She died at the age of 59 years, young, but you can see the wear and tear of the movement and her need to free the people of Mississippi, in particular the area where she came from bondage. Most of the people there worked for their room and board. You were lucky if you would get $3 a week um, uh, during that time. And it's not just during that time. There are places in Mississippi today that are still suffering the same type of poverty. So in studying Fannie Lou Hamer, I did a little extensive research and found out that, it's still going on today. And you have to ask yourself, what is the connection with black people in Mississippi? You hear black people say, they want to travel, they want to go here and there. You never hear a black person say they want to go to Mississippi, because subconsciously, the horror that comes out of that region. Um, Jackson, Mississippi, being the largest black populace in the state, even Jackson is suffering. But when you go into these little enclaves like Glen Allen, Mississippi, Webb, Mississippi, Tallahatchie, Mississippi, all of these small areas, um, it's like they're trying to starve our people to death. Some of these areas don't even have running water to this day. The same shanty shacks that was around then are still standing today, and people still live in them. Um, for example, Fannie Lou talked about um, her grandmother being a slave. They living on the same in the same area. Actually, she's from Montgomery County, smaller town being Rouville. I found out that once she started her work in political activism, the plantation that she lived on, the owner got word that she was out there, you know, spreading information to black people about the right to vote and so on and so forth. And he told her to stop it or she'll have to leave. Or she took it upon herself to leave that night. But then she went to stay with some friends. And 2 days later, the friend's home was shot up. 16 bullets shot in the door because they thought Fannie Lou was there. Um, when you hear Fannie Lou Hamer talk about the beating that she endured, she mentions two other young sisters, Yvesta Simpson and Anel Punda. Last night, I was able to show footage to put a face to those names. And when you see those sisters, they were young sisters, very, very young, beautiful sisters, who were beaten severely. She talked about not just that beating, but um, being beaten several times. So to the point where her body was like metal, like hard metal, because of the trauma to her body, the infections of polio and things of that nature, which, is why she had a limp, were very, very telling. So, again, if you get a chance and you want some more information about Fannie Lou Hamer, and there is an audio book as well. I have the audio book too, because when I'm out riding bikes or working out or what have you, I like to listen to my audio books. Um, so you can always get that. And again, I think it's a great piece of work, but you decide for yourself. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to our brother, Knowledge Born Allah, and Do the Knowledge Radio on the check in. A shout out to you, brother. I'm always learning from you as well. Keep doing what you're doing. Each one teach one. That's how we reach one. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, definitely appreciate you, my brother. Yes, Serious Sessions. The above is a documentary named Separate but Equal. Yes, Mississippi Delta. I mean, I was saying last night that I want to visit Ruleville, Mississippi. And I'm going to put that on my list to do hopefully this year, because um, after a while, Sister Hamer was able to lease a farm where they were growing beans and vegetables, and they had a pig farm on it to help feed themselves. Um, there was a moment in the documentary where it showed they had the farm for about 7 years before they had to let it go. Um, and um, in the piece, she said that, she knew that she would no longer be embarrassed to have someone over to her house and be able to feed them, fry up a piece of ham and, and so on and so forth. She said they weren't asking for anything, but bringing to the fore the hours that they worked, and they were never paid for those hours. Again, remember, I said she was tricked when she was 6 years of age into sharecropping. The owner of the plantation saw her playing on the road and asked her if she knew how to pick cotton, and she said she didn't know. And he told her, well, you know, don't you like nice things? If you pick the cotton, you know, I'll take you down to my general store and give you a box of Cracker Jacks and a can of sardines. So to her, that was exciting because she had never had that before. And she went home and she told her mother, and her mother told her that if she was going to do it, she had to be honest in doing that. And at 6 years of age, she picked 30 pounds of cotton. And then the owner of the plantation took her down to the store to give her the things that he said he would. But he was grooming her because next week she was tasked with picking 60 pounds of cotton. And that's how it began. In the film, they showed either other young people, young children, who talked about the pounds of cotton that they picked. One child picked 100 pounds, another child picked 200 pounds of cotton. So this type of work was done by the entire family, and still they didn't have enough to eat. Her mother would go around to other plantations after she had finished doing what she was doing and asked for the scraps of cotton that they deemed unsellable. And then she took all of that and would sell it to other plantations to try to get enough money for them to eat. Sister Fannie Lou Hamer was one of 20 children. I think she was the baby of the family. I have to go back to the book because it's been a minute since I read it. But um, she, that life, and then being isolated from the world, not knowing um, that other people were voting, not knowing that she had the ability to bring these people to court and fight for what was right, fight for what was hers and her family. So it was a lot revealed. So again, as Brother Ray Ray produces the video, I will make sure you all get it, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. So we got our brother Blacksmith on a check-in. What's up, brother Black?
What's
What's
up,
with you?
Sister Keish? How you doing, love?
Good. You got some love last night.
From who? Oh yeah, you told me Brother Ray Ray, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Brother Ray Ray out there. Thank y'all. I'm glad I'm still ringing bells in New York, even though I'll be there soon. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though you ain't a Brooklynite, but I'm just saying.
Oh, here we go with that.
I gotta throw that in there.
Hey,
But
if I'm older than you, I've been to Brooklyn before you was. So there. All
uh
right. Now,
oh, I'm
let's talk.
checked. Let me fall back. Let me fall all the way back. Let me fall all the way back.
Where my people's at? Where Tad and Ashay at?
Well, Tad is still out of town. Ashay will
Ah,
be joining us in a few.
okay.
I'm trying to get some things worked out.
Got you. Got you.
But I was just going over the presentation that I did last night and giving the people just a little bit of background, more information about our sister Fannie Lou Hamer,
Yes, ma'am.
um, and her life. And as you came in, but again, family, When Ray uploads it, I'll make sure you have it. Also, she is buried on that farm that
Wow.
she started. There is a huge statue of her outside of the town, but I really want to get down there to visit her grave site, and I want to see the farm for myself. And I do want to do some on the ground interviews of people down there. Um, and I'm hoping to do that later on this year. Because, as I mentioned, Brother Black, there were towns, smaller towns, in the surrounding areas that are still facing that same poverty today.
Yeah.
Right now, the biggest um, financial or economic sector in Mississippi in that area is the chicken plants and the prisons.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
Even during the pandemic, um, I would employ all of you to, in your spare time, Google what happened to the Black people in Mississippi and how they were treated during this pandemic. But I'm gonna get off of that, Brother Black. I know you've been sending me a slew of information.
Yeah, it's so much going on, sis.
It is, brother, and we want you to touch on some of that tonight. Um,
Okay, you want me to start?
yeah,
Oh,
let's make
wow.
it happen. Let's get it popping because we got our
Okay.
guests coming in at 9 o'clock.
Okay, I'm gonna try to cover the Ukraine real quick because that's the biggest topic that we need to be concerned with. I understand there's a lot of people out there that are kind of saying that it's not our business and so on and so forth. It is, because if you're a Pan-Africanist, if I'm not labeling anybody on this call, or excuse me, on this show, but if you consider yourself a Pan-Africanist and you've seen what happened in the Ukraine with the for the most part Africans that were there 2 weeks ago, then most of them are out by now because all has been seen and taken care of. But as far as the Ukraine concerned, and I've been saying this since it popped off, what that's about is the good guys, if you want to call Putin, Trump, is the triumvirate of Putin, Trump, and Xi, the president of China. If you consider them the good guys and the deep state as the bad guys, what's happening is they in there to clean up those biolabs that were all around the border, because Russia and the Ukraine share a big border, and when they first reported it, it was supposedly 11. I'm gonna send you a link because I linked up everything. So as I'm telling you, I'm gonna send it. But let me just make my point, then I'll move on. What they found in the beginning, I believe about a month ago, was 11 biolabs, and up to now they found 33 of them. And let me send you a link. And this one was from a few days ago. It says 26. Give me 1 second. I'll get it done for y'all. 1 second. I should have had it queued up. My apologies. Okay, here we go. I got it. Should I put this in a YouTube chat, Miss Keisha, or should I put it in private chat? Which one? Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Your mute must be on.
Put it in private. Put it in private.
Okay, sending it right now.
Okay.
Okay, basically what this one is saying is that China demands answers from U.S. for 26 biolabs in Ukraine. So that's between the State Departments, what have you, and so on and so forth. Now, the reason why China is instrumental in this whole dynamic is because you also have to understand that the Chinese are about to go into Taiwan. Same thing. What the United States cabal government has been, secret government has been doing, is building biolabs all over the world, in especially places that are not in NATO, because if you're in NATO, you can't snake each other. You got to be transparent. So they're doing it in countries that are not in NATO and allied against the good people that I just mentioned in the beginning of all this. Now, let me go back a little bit. I'm doing this in a little bit out of order, but this is very important because this guy figured big too. There's another link I'm going to queue up right now. Give me 1 second, y'all. Okay. This one is about, I don't know if y'all remember. I'm sure some of the people in this audience are going to remember a guy named Zygmunt Zabrinsky. He was very instrumental during the Cold War. He's a contemporary of Kissinger, and a contemporary of Kissinger, and I believe was Jimmy Carter's Secretary of State. He's an old Polish dude, and he said, I'm sending this right now. You just got it. I just sent it through. What he said in 2012 was that it was impossible. Let me read it to you so that instead of saying what it said, I could give you a direct, and then you could put the link out there, because this is very important. But most people ain't paying attention to this. Just the first sentence, this is what it says. During a recent speech in Poland, he's Polish, by the way, former U.S. National Security Advisor Zbigniew Brzezinski warned fellow elitists that a worldwide resistance movement to external control driven by populist activism is threatening to derail the move towards a new world order. Calling, and there's another short paragraph, I'm going to read that and then I'll go to the next. Calling the notion that the 21st century is the American century a shared delusion, Brzezinski stated that American domination was no longer possible because of an accelerating social change driven by instant mass communication such as radio, television, and the internet, which have been cumulatively stimulating a universal awakening of mass political consciousness. Now, if that don't tell you anything, he died in 2017.
Right. I was about to say that. Isn't he deceased? Because I was just watching an episode of The Circus with his son was on there.
Right.
And he was talking about his father in that light and that what happened back then.
Right.
But yeah, this is crazy.
Yeah, at that time, he basically retired from the New World Order. He was like, yo, it ain't gonna happen. Y'all on your own. I already see it. He was already an old man. I believe when he died, he was about 80-ish. So, he'd been around since, like I said, the 70s. So he saw the transition from when who was it? Nixon? Was it Nixon? That when he took the silver as the standard for the dollar? And that's when everything started with the inflation and this artificial money system that we're into this day. I believe it was Nixon. Right.
Wow.
That was 1971, and Nixon was the president that year. So it was Nixon. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So that's a big part of everything that we're talking about, because remember, he's from Poland, and Poland also borders on Russia. So they're all, at the end of the day, that if you consider that a block of nations, or empire or confederation, whatever you want to call it, they're all politically connected. You can't separate them that easily just because they're not, it's Poland, Russia, Belarus, all these different countries and so on and so forth. So that's the second part of one I wanted to cover. I'm not going to take too long because I know we got the guy coming in for the movie. The third article I'm going to get into right now, and I'm going to bring it into this day, but I'm going to go in order. Well, I went out of order for the first and second, but this one is the third one that I'm going to get into. This is about Kazakhstan, okay?
Okay.
And how they collapsing the money. Give me 1 second. I'm going to send it to you right now. How they're collapsing the money system, the supply chain and all of that, these convoys and so on that have been happening in Canada, all over the world, actually. I mean, not be specific with one country. But as far as Kazakhstan is concerned, did you get the link, sweetie? Hold on.
Yes, I have it.
Oh, okay. All right. With Kazakhstan, remember, that was the flashpoint that everybody thought World War III was going to flare up, and you heard about it for a week, and then it was like nothing. And then, we had a 2-week break, and then Ukraine, and now that's all we're still talking about. But basically, with Kazakhstan, that was the number 2 place in the world for child trafficking and Bitcoin, which is used by the majority of those people, the ones that's funding it. Basically, it was made by the CIA. So cabal. Let's just say cabal, so we don't
Mhm.
have to specify between different intelligence agencies
Right.
and so on. The cabal basically was backing it by doing that stuff. That's how come you can't base it on anything. It's based on trust if you want to say that. And if it's based on trust, it's just like the dollar. In God we trust. By the way, the United States currency is the only currency in the world with the word God on it. Whether you believe in God or not or whatever, it don't matter. That's not the point. I'm talking about whose God is are you trusting in to run a devilish fiat currency system. Okay, so Kazakhstan is very important. And remember, Kazakhstan was a former part of the Soviet Union as well. So we can't dismiss it. Y'all got to understand out there that for the most part, what Khazaria was a lot of parts of the Russian Confederation, and the Russians pushed them out back in the days. And they know Zabriskie also is responsible for saying that he knew that the so-called Jews, y'all know who I'm talking about,
Right.
eventually gonna have to get the hell out of there. I can link that too, but I'm giving y'all the math and y'all go figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I gave you the equation. Go get the answer for me, bring it back, or tell your people or whatever. So that way you can show them, the ones that might deal with you on an intellectual level. I'm not talking about emotional people, so you could get them to see the connections, because I'm connecting it all for y'all. Last link, and then I'm gonna get off my soapbox, y'all. Last link that I'm gonna talk about is something that I constantly bring up, because remember, for the most part here, what I want y'all to know is that we're talking about biolabs. And if we're talking about biolabs, then check this out. And nobody's talking about it, even though this is from the 3rd of March, which is more than a week ago today. The Senate, the U.S. Senate, y'all, and I remember the day it happened, but it was so much happened that day, I don't think I retained it, but I saw it again today. On the 3rd of March, a week ago, the Senate voted to end all COVID-19 emergencies. It's a declaration, and I've just put the link up so Sister Keisha could put it up. Y'all can see it for yourself. I don't know. I doubt anybody in this listening audience is wearing masks in their car by themselves, or that stupid in a pool or in the ocean, in the beach, or whatever the case may be. I doubt anybody here, but I still see too many people wearing masks. This is Senate. This is from the Senate, which is over Congress, y'all, or the House of Representatives, because they all, one Congress or Senate, if you will. But what I'm saying is this is official. Biden threatens to veto it. Biden ain't doing nothing but drooling all over himself, because that ain't even the real Biden. So all his signatures on them blank pieces of paper you see that's supposed to be declaring wars are all null and void. That's all fiction. Live your life the way you see fit to live your life. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all got the jab because you felt you had to do it to keep your job. You got children and apartments and houses and car notes to pay for. I understand that. Try your best, if you feeling the side effects and you don't want to tell nobody, to find a way to heal. And we got the answers for that too. So I'm done, Keisha. We could go to the next.
That's what's up. One of the things that I find disturbing is our people's emotional commentary as it relates to this. Me personally, I want them all to destroy each other. So go right on ahead. I could care less, because we got enough going on with ourselves and how we are going to maintain.
Yes, ma'am.
Let those people go ahead and destroy each other. It's better off for us. Now, here's an article that I found deeply, deeply disturbing. You have a black man, Detroit man, 62, headed to Ukraine. I'm actually going to fight. This is the sickness that I'm talking about here. This is the sickness that really, really bothers me. Now, this old fool is talking about going over there, joining forces with Ukraine soldiers, excuse me, to fight against Russia. First of all, you know how many white supremacists are in Ukraine? You see, I used to work with a woman who was originally from Ukraine. And this was in the early 2000s.
Yes, ma'am.
And she would always tell me how racist and vile it was there.
Yeah.
Now I saw Professor Black Truth did a piece on these white supremacist groups 2 years ago, and Brother Ray is on a check-in, and he can attest to this. I did a lecture at BK William Mackey Study Group, and I talked about the Rise Above movement and their origins and where they came out of. Now you're seeing other people talking about them, but it is a hotbed for white supremacist groups. You have people who are escaping extradition going into Ukraine. They are so vile. As you see, as the world has seen, the way they treat African nationals, Caribbean nationals who are living there, whether it's for work or for education, all the turmoil that they're going through. You see, they just had a barge of about 600 people off the coast of Florida coming from Haiti. It was a blip in the news, and that's all you heard. You got this old fool out here talking about he's ready to suit up and fight for Urugu. I can guarantee you he never did a goddamn thing for the little black girl or boy on his street who may have been bullied. This is the sickness that bothers me. Everybody want to put on a cape for these folks. For what? For what?
Hey, Keisha, real quick. I want to touch that because I was going to talk about that anyway. I'm glad you brought it up. But real talk, we got to understand something. You see how when we talk about entertainers, how we always disagree because you think they doing what they want to do and they got handlers, making sure that they get that agenda out, however sick it may sound. It's the same thing with people on the street. It's the same thing. So that dude is a Mason, and they pick him because he's the most articulate and friendly looking, or whatever the case may be, or whatever order he may go. It could be Elks. It could be so many different things. There's so many Masonic type groups out there. If you gotta, like with what happened with Trayvon and his dad, I'm sure you're aware of that situation. Whether it happened the way they say it could have happened or not, he's a high degree Mason. He's not just one in the Blue Lodge. He probably goes to the Red Lodge. What I'm saying as far as that's concerned, though, whatever group you in, you got handlers. And if they put you in that situation, they're going to make sure it gets into the arena of the media or what have you, so that we can be talking about stuff like that, because there are other people out there like that too. He may not have, the point I'm making is he may not have organically had that thought to do that. If he was told to do it, to put a picture on black sympathy for a cause like Ukraine because of what they're going through, if you're not properly informed watching these kind of shows, then you might do that same thing too. Remember the Foreign Legion? We used to hear about it back in the day. There are people, we call them mercenaries now. That's what Blackwater was doing 20 years ago, 15 years ago. They just changed their name to XE. Now you don't even hear about them anymore.
All I know is when you get over there, I hope you catch the first round coming. That's all I'm saying. I don't rock with stuff like that.
I don't either.
And we got to continue to speak out against that. Now, you have people, and I know you've seen it as well, on social media, blaming Russia for the high gas prices. Really? How is it that Russia is the fault when we only get 3% of their reserves? How is Russia at fault? is beyond me. And please, family, don't get us wrong. We ain't pro Urugu over here. We just giving y'all the facts.
Hey, I put on my page, Keisha. I just put it on a few hours ago, maybe like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock ish. I put on my page, if you live in a big city, just make some adjustments. Take the bus sometimes, especially if you're going downtown. I'm not talking about taking it to the furthest furthest point of your city or borough or whatever or county. Take it sometime. If you got to go downtown, take you a half hour. And you coming straight back home. You're not stopping off. Or I got to go to the supermarket. I got to go to my sister's house. I got to do this. Take the bus sometimes.
I'm glad I'm a bike rider. Let me just put it that way.
Okay, that too.
I'm glad I ride bikes. Because, and also, as you see, as the refugees are pulling into Poland, traffic has been at a standstill. So, you got cars that's been sitting on the road for days. I'm glad I'm a bike rider. Y'all better know. Many times I said on this platform that one of the reasons that I ride bikes is so I can understand the quadrants of getting in and out of this city. There are roads, streets that you can maneuver that'll take you straight upstate and out of the state. I learned by riding bikes. Now, if traffic is at a standstill, y'all in trouble. If they start shutting down roads and streets, you in trouble. So now you got all of these people in an uproar about the cost of gas going up,
right,
and not really understanding that these deals were made prior to the new regime coming in. You have these oil tycoons, promises were made and they must be kept, and you gonna pay for it. By hook or crook, you gonna pay for it. But like I said in my skit today, thanks for voting. Good luck with that.
Hey, but Ashay even said it last week though, and it's real talk. You hear about the proposed sanctions. I'm not talking about the United States in this case. I'm talking about proposed sanctions. Most of these other countries ain't sanctioning Russia. They can't.
Right.
Those deals gotta be honored. That's a world court thing. They ain't got nothing to do with war. United States and Russia, okay, shut that down. The United States, Africa, you got deals with them. Jordan Maxwell covered that too much. We already know how that goes. It's a game, and right now they in court.
Good luck with that. Shout out to Brother Mike Grace, the history hitman, on the check-in. He was at the BK William Mackey History Club last night. Thank you, Brother Mike. He said the race trader from Detroit has never challenged the Michigan white supremacist militia, which are among the largest in America. Absolutely, Brother Mike. Absolutely. You like I said, he ain't gonna do nothing as it relates to our people. So go ahead, and I hope you catch the first thing smoking. I hope you get just what you're looking for to go over there and want to fight. And he's 62 years of age. Boy, go sit down somewhere. Go do something with yourself. Apparently, he don't know the story of Garvey. Brother Ashay SJ on the check-in. We both got the black hoodie on tonight. Y'all better be nice. BK is in the building. We ain't playing. We look at the attire. That's because we in sync, family. We don't play no games over here. What's up, Brother Ashay?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I'm just excited to have part 2 of this conversation when it comes to this amazing movie that's about to bring to fruition, bring the manifestation. Talking none other than the Mosiah movie about Garvey. I'm really excited, man. Last week, if you tuned in, it was just a great conversation, a great build on so many important reasons why a film like this is needed, not only for entertainment purposes or educational purposes, but spiritual purposes. You know what I'm saying? It's something about when we see true stories of Black heroes that didn't sell out, people that did real stuff for us, that it kind of like riles up something inside of you. It does something for your spirit, as opposed to seeing, the opposite, the negative, where you always feeling bombarded and beat down and feel horrible when you leave the movie theater. Your vibration on a low frequency. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need, poster childs, and the actor, all the actors and actresses and people that stand up for something like this. Like, this is really a true craft, for them to be able to dig deep in the spirit of the ancestors, as far as Marcus Garvey and things of that nature, to come out and not only tell a story, but do it in a way that's skillful and artful and just, beautiful. So I'm just really excited. And, I see we got our guests in the background, so I ain't even going to take up too much time. I just want to get it in. You know what I'm saying? This is what the people want, so make sure y'all, please. Last week we shared the information. Please make sure y'all are donating, supporting whatever way you can. If you want to share this link or share the links for the trailers and the GoFundMe and things of that nature, please make sure y'all doing that. Every little bit counts, you know what I'm saying? And we really gonna make this thing happen. So I'm excited. But yeah, Keisha.
Facts. And also, we're going to have Brother Sam join us tonight, too. So I'm excited about that, because I have so many questions to ask Brother Sam. I don't know if you heard earlier, before you came on, Brother Ashe, I was talking about the lecture that I did last night at BK Mackey's. And one of the books that I highlighted was a book written by Dr. Keisha Blaine. And it's entitled Set the World on Fire. It's about the women of the UNIA. One of the chapters deals with the first wife of Marcus Mosiah Garvey, Amy Ashwood. And I pretty much honed in on her life last night because she's rarely ever spoken of. But there's great information about Amy Ashwood in that book, Set the World on Fire by Dr. Keisha N. Blaine. In fact, the second Mrs. Garvey, Amy Jacques Garvey, was the first Mrs. Garvey's maid of honor.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Facts.
Garvey was
like,
what you call
it need to be spilled. Where the tea at?
What you call in Jamaica, they call it a gallus. That's what my dude Garvey was. He was a gallus. He was getting them. He was getting the ladies.
Facts. Actually, and also too, the first funding for the UNIA was monies provided by the first Mrs. Garvey's parents. Her family was what do you call it? Middle class or upper middle class. Her father was a businessman. In fact, he had moved the family at one point from Jamaica to Panama when they were building the Panama Canal and opened up a bakery there. So he was very successful in business. In fact, after the divorce of she and Garvey, she too opened up 2 restaurants in London, which did very, very well. She started her own organization in London with some other prominent Black people. I think it was called the Nigerian Progress Movement. And in that book, it also talks about other women of the UNIA, in particular, Maud Lena Gordon, who founded the peace movement of Ethiopia, if you will. So it's great information in that book. If you get a chance to read it about the women of the UNIA, definitely pick that up. I think it's an audio book form also, but I have the hard copy. I have the audio book of the Fannie Luhama. But definitely check that out. It's a lot of information. In fact, Brother Ashe, too, when you think about UNIA, you think about the Harlem movement, but they also had plenty of meetings in Brooklyn, Brownsville, Brooklyn at that.
Why you always got to be bringing Brooklyn up?
Stop the hate. Just because ain't nobody.
All right. Come on, cut it out. Come on, keep coming. Come on at me. Come on.
But again, so much information, but we got our guest in queue. I just want to for the family who didn't see the trailer last week. We're going to play the trailer, and then we're going to bring our guests right on in. Okay?
Come on.
I unequivocally reject the racist assumption of white America's ideology that God created the black man inferior. Because if Negroes are created in God's image and Negroes are black, then God too must in some sense be black. It's time to unite our brothers and sisters across the country and sail to Africa. Liberia is calling us now.
And what happens when the government tries to stop us?
By the time they try it, it'll already be too late.
They claim to uplift the Negro race, to persuade Negroes into buying stock in the Black Star Line.
This trial is politically driven. They want to end the movement by assassinating my character. By not taking the plea, you face a mandatory 5 years in prison. Do you see any fear in my eyes?
Who does he think he is? Black Moses?
You'd better stop him quick. We're gonna tear this whole country apart.
How much longer will you endure the pain and suffering that this country places upon you? Dive down, black men, dive down and dig.
Hold your head high, Marcus. You are not the first the system has tried to break, and you will not be the last. The future of our people relies on you.
Africa for the Africans!
Woo! Fire! 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 More fire! Give me that Bridge Brooklyn fire! I can't wait to see this film. I'm telling you, I think I might see it about 4 or 5 times. Ashay don't watch the trailer like 100 times already.
Where you
You
at?
don't watch it like 100 times, Brother Black. We are so excited.
I watched it at least 7, 8 times already.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I'm turned up. I'm turned up. I cannot wait. Once this, listen, we, as Brother Ashay said, we may have to rent out the theater and have this thing shown the way we did with the Panther movie, and just take a bunch of children and the community and make it happen like we did with that. For sure, for sure. So without further ado, we got our brother Gerard Black with us again.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up? In the building.
What's up?
I am excited. I am excited to have you guys on with us. As you know, we have been sharing this trailer like crazy. Last night, during my lecture, I mentioned the film to the audience there, both live and those who were on Zoom, about this. We created a buzz, some excitement, got other people excited about it. So with that excitement, we also want y'all to donate to the completion of this film. And we're going to share more information on that a little bit later. But Brother Gerard, Brother Sam, thank you for joining us. We're going to start out with Brother Sam because we spoke with Brother Gerard last week. And shout out to his queen, too. Definitely shout out to her, Sister Alma, all of that. But Brother Sam, you know, I don't know, brother. Somebody is touching your brain. Somebody touched your mother's womb when she was carrying you, because you definitely look like Mosiah Garvey in that clip.
Oh yeah.
So, brother, what made you even write about this film?
Honestly, ever since I in this I've always been compelled to tell the story. What stood out the most to me when discovering him was just his methods of or his overall idea of Pan-Africanism and Black people uniting as one and collectively having our own You know what I mean? And developing our own, and to be proud of our own. And that stood out the most to me. And ever since learning that, I ran with it. That became my own objective. My own my life goal. And in any way of sort that I could attain that, or at least push it, I've tried. And thank God I've been able to. God blessed me to create. So using what I do and what I can do, I had to spread that message across. And thanks to Gerard and Alima, they helped with the process. But the world needed to know who Marcus Garvey was. I think the biggest thing was just being in today's time, and a lot of Black people still not knowing who he is, or who he was, or what he stood for. That, oh my God, that it ignited like an anger in me to where, no, I not as long as I'm living, people won't know who he is. They will know. And I was going to do everything in my power to make sure that we did know, to help our people, but also help mankind as a whole.
That's what's up. And here in New York, especially in Brooklyn, his name reigns supreme. You got Marcus Garvey Boulevard, in Harlem, you got Marcus Garvey Park. In fact, used to have drummers who would come out there every weekend and just drum for hours in Marcus Garvey Park before the gentrifiers came in and started a ruckus over there. But anyway, that's another story for another time. I wanted to know what was your motivation in playing the role of Marcus Mosiah, because you could have had anybody else play that role. But what made you want to step into that role personally and play this great giant?
I think generally it's just the expectations and standards and personal responsibility I place upon myself. You know what I mean? Oh my God, ideally I would love to walk in the shoes of Marcus Garvey and stand on what he stood for, and you know what I mean, push those methods. You know what I mean? So I wanted to fully take responsibility of portraying the Honorable Marcus Garvey. And as Gerard can tell you, even though they made me audition, Gerard mentioned it last week, but I did have to audition for the role. But there was not a doubt in my heart that I wasn't going to play him. You know what I mean? I had to take on the responsibility. It was I had to do it. I wanted to do it. I needed to do it. And I just felt compelled to. You know what I mean? The process was something, because I shared with Gerard like plenty of times. I think leading up into the production, I would pray to him. You know what I mean? I pray to the ancestors. I'll do my libation frequent, calling for his spirit, calling for him. So I fully trusted that, he would show himself or reveal himself through me. And that just was an example of just my willingness and drive to wanting to portray Marcus Garvey, and me and me doing it. I just had to, straight up. I just had to.
That's what's up. And I'm telling you, he definitely grabbed you up in the whirlwind.
Yeah.
And definitely that, because like I said, when I first saw it, I had to do a double take, like, what the hell? Wait a minute. Is this some footage that was released of Garvey or something? But and not just you, Brother Sam, but the young boy, a young person playing Marcus Garvey as a boy, resembles him so much. That is profound. And so shout out to the whole cast. I cannot wait. But I wanted to also ask too, did you ever visit the island of Jamaica where he's from prior to doing this?
I wish. Never.
Yeah. It's very interesting because we here in the States, and even abroad, honor Garvey more than the Jamaican nationals do. He is on the lowest denomination, almost the lowest denomination of Jamaican currency. There are no museums dedicated to him. in any way. And I can speak on that because I go back to Jamaica, back and forth to Jamaica more than the Nationals do. So I think I'm an authority on that, and I'll challenge anybody. But you know, they give more of an honor to people like Bob Marley, who has a museum. They just I think about 4 years ago opened the Peter Tosh Museum, but there really isn't anything outside of the town in which he grew up in. And in Kingston, you have a little depiction of him outside of Emancipation Park. But there is really, they don't speak of him in any light whatsoever. And that always disturbed me. That here in the States, we honor him more in that. So I'm hoping that with this film, it reignites something in Jamaican nationals to honor Mr. Garvey the way that he should be, because believe it or not, in my humble opinion, he put them on the map. Frankly, he put them on the map more so than Bob Marley being a musician. He put them on the map before that. So I'm hoping that this film spreads far and wide, that everyone gets to see it. Like I said, we're going to do some things here in New York once it's released, however way you guys do it, whether it be streaming or in theaters. We are definitely going to do some things here in New York City to make sure that our young people here have access to that film. So all of you who was down with the Panther movie with the organization party and the brothers and sisters from I forget Brother Vern and them organization. It just flew out of my head, but they put it together and made it happen. And for several days, we took a lot of children to see that, and we hoping to do that with this film. Now, as far as Mrs. Garvey's or the Mrs. Garvey's are concerned, will both of them be portrayed in this film, or just the one, the Amy Jacques, or will Amy Ashwood be portrayed in this film, Brother Gerard?
So we only have Amy Jacques being portrayed in this glimpse. It's more we expanded a little bit, but the central focus is the his trial. So seeing seeing certain moments in the trial. So everything kind of supports that. So we see little blips that give us a foundation, I would say, for some of the things that are happening when we see the sections of the trial.
Great. Have either of you ever read her book, Garvey and Garveyism?
I've read some of it, yes.
Great material. I personally think chapters 13 and 15 were my favorites. If you haven't read it, you should, and then focusing on them 2 chapters for the audience, that is, if you get it. And I think it's on audiobook as well, if you want to do that. A lot of information about the organization itself, and she hones in on the trial also in that body of work. So you guys can check that out when you can. Sister Marie in the chat, she says, Brother Samuel favors Garvey, though excellent choice. Absolutely, Sister Marie. I thought it was just me. I'm like, what the hell? Listen, because with Brother Tad, Brother Ashe, and myself, and Brother Black, we're sharing information in the wee hours of the night. We real researchers over here, for real. So it could be 3 o'clock in the morning. We're getting emails and messages from each other. Brother Black is in agreement. I had to slow Brother Black down last night because he was interrupting my presentation last night.
I'm sorry, sweetie. I'm sorry. My bad.
All love. I'm just messing with you. But Brother Ashe has sent it to me very, very early. And later on in the morning, I didn't get a chance to look at it because I was so busy. And he hit me back. Did you see it yet? I'm like, hold on. So when I did look at it, I was like amazing. I had to go downstairs to my husband. I was like, doesn't this man look like Garvey? Don't you want to see this film? He was like, yeah. When is it out? You know, my husband just want the particulars. Just tell me where it is. But I said, you know, they were working on it and, you know, raising funds to complete it. And we hope that you all get those funds. Please, family, please contribute. Please follow mosiahmovie.com to get more information about the film and how you could contribute. We have to make sure that this film is produced. This Amanetu, she said, yeah, Brother Sam truly does look like Garvey. Facts, sis.
Hey, Keisha, let me say this real quick.
Wait a minute. Did I go back to 1998 when I was drinking that cognac? Hold on. Something's wrong here.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was times. And I'm sure Gerard would laugh when I bring it up, but it'd be times like he'll be behind the monitor, you know, and looking at the playback, and he's just he's just amazed. And I'm asking him about performance. I'm like, did I do good? He's just looking at, man, he's just, oh my God, man, look at the cheekbones. Look at oh my God. And it's so crazy because I'll look at the footage and I'll be like, that looks like me. You know what I mean? But everybody's like, no, my God, you look like Garvey. It's crazy.
Hey, so, Sam, I'm sorry.
Hold on, Brother Black, real quick.
I'm sorry.
Brother Mike Graves, the history hitman, he came up with the answer for me that I couldn't think real quick. The African Village. Shout out to the African Village, Brother Vern, Sister Tara, all of y'all. Love y'all, the whole African Village crew. And 100 Blacks in Law Enforcement Who Care rented the Linden Theater for the Black Panther movie. So we are hoping that we can do that again. This time with the Garvey film, Brother Mike. Maybe we might have to set some things up. I didn't want to cut you off. Go ahead, Brother Black.
No, real quick. I know, no question. I want to say to Brother Sam, in your, you know, now that you're not in your role as Garvey, and I'm looking at you as you actually are, you kind of resemble Martin Luther King.
I played both. I played Martin Luther King throughout college. You know, I played him all day. Yeah.
So to me, what that means is you're destined for great things, brother. So stick around, man.
I appreciate it.
Wow, Sister Carol, shout out to Madison alum. That's my sister going way back to high school. Y'all don't want the tea for real. She said she used to work with Dr. Julius Garvey. He was the chief attending vascular surgery at Queens General Hospital for many years. Absolutely. Again, you know, the name reigns supreme here in New York for sure. Yes. So many people in these chats are saying how you resemble him is amazing. Brother Ashe, any questions for Brother Sam?
Yo, peace, Brother Sam. What's the word? It's good to have you on the show, bro.
Man,
definitely.
It's an honor. Likewise, man, it's an honor. I caught you guys last week. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
Oh my God, you guys educated me a lot. You know what I mean? Just from checking you out from last week. So being here today, man, it's an honor. Like I'm slightly nervous, you know what I mean? But I'm just appreciative too, man. I respect you guys. You know what I mean? I love your opinions, your viewpoints, and just that the fact that you're embracing me, man, is just a blessing. So I'm truly grateful, for real. Truly grateful.
Yeah, bro. Y'all family, you know, don't feel no way. Y'all family, man. If y'all got something to promote or share, whatever we could do to help, this is our platform, like as a community. It's not just me, Keisha, and shout out to my big brother Ty, who's not on the show tonight. But he's here with us in spirit, holding it down for him. But if he was here, he would have some amazing questions, and you know, I'm sure he's just as excited to see this come to fruition. You know, but I want to ask you, Brother Sam, like, with the like, all right, first of all, what's your nationality? Like, are you just African American, or are you West Indian, or you have?
From what I know, I'm African American. My father said there was, I think he said his great grandmother is Indian. I believe Native American. But from what I know, I'm African American.
Right. That's what's up, bro. Well, I'm just wondering because the way you put on, like when you was doing the accent, really put on, bro. Like, it was interesting. I'm like, man, is this brother like got Jamaican descendant? My family, my dad's side is from Trinidad, so I know the accents, And when I heard you putting on the accent, I'm like, man, because what impressed me the most about it was not that it just sounded like a regular yardie nowadays, like regular Jamaican that they got. But the fact that you actually sound like a dated Jamaican, like you sound like a Jamaican from the era of Garvey. I think a lot of people miss that because they hear actors and us black people, when we see black people on the camera, especially if you portraying somebody they know, they scrutinizing everything. They like, oh man, his hat wasn't the right red, or he ain't do this, So, but the way you did it, bro, like. It sounds just like this is what I did. I literally watched the trailer, right? And then I pulled up the actual speech because that first scene was from the actual speech. I watched the trailer and I watched the actual speech right back to back, bro. It was on point, bro. You did a great job, man.
And I meditated to that speech, man. Oh my, a lot of work. I did a lot of studying, trying to get close as possible to his accent. But in different scenes, knowing how to switch it, how he would speak with Amy would be completely different than how he would speak in the courtroom and how he would speak with other Americans. So just having to navigate which situation, how each situation would affect the accent or how he would talk or his tone. It took a lot of work. Oh my God, how many phone calls I made to you, Gerard? Like, you sure?
Yeah.
Which one you want, bro? Do you want me to do this? Like, does it sound right? Like, I think that was the most challenging part of it. Just making sure the accent was there, and trying close as possible to get it. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Oh,
you're right, Ashe, because I'm married to a Jamaican national, and listening to his accent, Ashe was right on point because that's how the elders speak. Like I said, I traveled to Jamaica a lot. I could go on a bus from one parish to the next. That's how much I know. I know the transportation system better than my husband do. Facts. When I want to travel, I take public transportation for real. So, going from different parishes because the country accent is different from the city accent. And you definitely nailed it. So again, like I said, the spirit was definitely with you on that. Didn't want to cut your wisdom, brother Ashe.
we definitely talked about in our talks about his accent, we specifically talked about whether or not we thought that he would be closer to like a full Jamaican accent, or would he have like an Americanized version of it? And we specifically, like in some of the scenes, like he was saying, we decided that we thought that he would be more of an Americanized version of a Jamaican accent because of the presence that he wanted to have as an intellectual here in America, to be recognized with that as well. You know what I mean? So I think some of that kind of influenced the way we approach some of it. And then, like you said, talking about in the moments that he has with his wife, where he doesn't, he can be totally vulnerable, and they both come from the same place. So how to, I'm from Chicago. I get around some Chicago people, just that little vibe starts happening. You start acting a certain way, start talking a certain way. You know what I mean? So it's it's something that we definitely had lengthy discussion about. Like you said, many conversations, but that's necessary. You know what I mean? And I really applaud Sam's effort and his dedication to it. I never once doubted that he was going to pull it off, or never doubted his commitment to it, and that's beautiful. And I mean, even when we were shooting, like we would take moments away from the set or whatever, just to do checks on each other, make sure each other okay, make sure we feel like things are going fine, and we even did libation, from all the ancestors we were portraying, all that, even on set. So we're trying to stay real centered, real focused.
Not only that, if I may add, one real quick tidbit. In investigating Marcus Garvey's life, a lot, he wasn't well educated, but he was the kind of guy that would go to classes, courses, anything he could take that was nominal or free, and take advantage of them. So one of those things was the equivalent of what Toastmasters is. He learned how to speak, like in a setting where you have to speak in front of people, enunciate, be eloquent in what you're saying, and he mastered that. And not only that, the man was a genius, period. Taking away all the UNIA stuff, the man was a genius at that.
Absolutely, Brother Black, you're right about that, because I'm getting a feedback. Let me mute you real quick. As far as Garvey is concerned, when he first came here, he was really looking for Booker T. Washington, because he admired what he was doing down in Alabama. And also, when he arrived here in Harlem, he used to go to the speakeasies and on the corners to listen to Hubert Harrison. And he would watch Hubert Harrison and how he would speak, that oratory vibration of voice. He would study that and learn how to hold court, if you will, because remember, they used to go out on the street corners and hold court. You had white men, white businessmen who would come uptown to hear Hubert Harrison speak. He was a literary genius. And so, Garvey even would go and see him. Now, the funny thing, and I don't know if Brother Gerard and Brother Sam knows this, but Ho Chi Minh would come to Harlem and sit in UNIA meetings to listen to Garvey. He took the information that Garvey taught him back to Korea. This is fact. This is fact. If you read his memoirs, he talks about Garvey a lot. So Garvey had an effect on people worldwide. And it's just amazing what he and his wives were able to do with Black people around the world, not having social media, not having television or radio, things of that nature. But you also have to understand that Black people as a whole were isolated. We had isolated communities around the world. And so being able to hone in on that was very, very progressive in the movement. So I definitely cannot wait to see this trial take place, because one of our Queen Mothers talks about the trial. Queen Mother Moore talks about Garvey's trial. I remember her speaking about when he visited New Orleans, the first time she ever heard him. They didn't want him speaking in New Orleans, and police showed up, to prevent him from doing so. And them sisters pulled out pistols out of their purses. They wasn't playing. They was like, he gonna speak today. You know what I'm saying? And she said she was in awe of Garvey ever since then. And to know that here is a man who understood the plight of Black people, not just where he came from, but connecting us around the world, letting us, or educating us, I would say, on the fact that we had a common enemy and should have a common goal. Put tribal differences to the side. I wish we can understand that philosophy today. It's okay to have tribal differences. Brother Gerard, he's a Chicagoan. We Brooklynites over here. Brother Blacksmith, we ain't gonna shade him, but he's from the Bronx. There are tribal differences. And it's a beautiful thing. It makes us who we are. But unfortunately, we allow other entities to creep in to prevent us from organizing the way that we should. One question I have for you: do you think that after the showing of this film, that it will reignite in our people a need for unity for a common goal?
Ooh, that's a great question, Keisha. Great question.
You want to go first, Gerard? Or me? My answer is I think.
I mean, that's the goal, right? That's the goal. That's the we want to plant a seed that makes people want to learn more about Garvey. And the more you learn about Garvey, the more you realize how important it is to be a collective, to actually try to push towards a unified goal. You realize how many people he reached. I think some of the disdain or hate or whatever you want to call it that he got from his quote unquote peers of the time has a lot to do with his ability to reach such a wide variety of people, like people that, so I can't think of another way to say it, but, people that the intelligentsia of the time didn't deem was worthy enough or could understand the concepts that they were trying to put across. You know what I mean? The talented 10th and all of, that kind of concept. You know what I mean? And he appealed to every level of thought. You know what I mean? He could lay it out in a way that was plain to see if you weren't, and I'll say book smart, because the European concept of intelligence has to do with being able to memorize things that they deem important, that they've come together and deemed were important manuscripts or important concepts that tell people that you're intelligent. But there are people, you don't even have to delve deeply into Black history to find all of the inventions that we've made throughout the years without having the benefit of that book intelligence of the European idea of intelligentsia. So Garvey just tapped into that, intelligentsia included. You know what I mean? Like he appealed to so many people, and I think the more anybody would delve into what he was saying, his words and his mission, and the effectiveness of his movement, it's hard to not be excited, be driven by the passion that he had and the passion that his organization had for that unified movement. So yes, to answer your question, yes, we would hope that
Agreed. I think
into the streets and say, let's work together.
I have all faith. I have all faith in the film and its potential in changing, society and our people. But I think the biggest thing that it would do is bring awareness to Marcus Garvey, and like how you just mentioned, Gerard, it will influence you to research. You know what I mean? It will influence you to dig deeper. And if our work collectively doesn't do it, Marcus Garvey himself would damn sure do it by people going back and digging up. Like I just go back to those moments on set where we had Caucasians. We had scenes where Caucasians were in, and so some African Americans as well, but mostly Caucasians. And they would come to me after, you know what I mean, and hug me and try to kiss me and all this, and be so thankful of the production because, we brought awareness to them. They went back home that night or so and they researched Garvey, you know what I mean? And obviously they're not African American, you know what I mean? But just his intellect and just what he stood on, it was inspirational to them. You know what I mean? And the same for African Americans who were on set, like they didn't know. And it just that situation of production, just that us, making it happen, it inspired them to research and look. So I think it'll be the same thing once it does come out. The film does come out. The film will do influence, but also it will bring awareness, and people will go back and learn and educate themselves on Black unity and Pan-Africanism. You know what I mean? And I given it the chance, the opportunity, given the proper platforms, it will. All it takes is one person, you know what I mean, to watch it and want to go out and make a difference. And that one person can, you know, do a lot. So my confidence and faith is absolutely in the film. So I agree with you, Gerard. I think it will. I know it will. Definitely.
That's what's up. Sister
If it don't, you know,
she said, I'm dressing up to see this, just like I did with Black Panther. I'm wearing dashikis, mud club, all that.
Yeah. Rock that
I was gonna
RBG.
say, if it don't unite us, it's all good. You know, some twerking. We get Garvey flocking. Garvey a be. So,
we got brother Ashe. You broke up a little bit, brother, but I got you for real. I got you for real on that. Also, what I learned too, in reading that piece, Garvey and Garveyism, of a couple of well-known at that time Black publications who spoke out against him at first, like the Chicago Defender, the Messenger. Facts. You know, Amy wasn't playing. She dropped all tea in that book for real. So, you know, they spoke out against him at first, but then later came around. Some of them anyway. Even today, you have people who speak out against Garvey and the UNIA and the work that they were doing. But you have to understand, as I said, Black people were isolated all over the world. We had our own little enclaves. When he came on the scene here in the U.S., just out of enslavement, you had the beginning of Reconstruction, the development of economic power within small enclaves of Black towns. And he definitely honed in on that. And even as I mentioned last week, even the gangsters were in support of UNIA. And that is powerful within itself. Like I said, Madam Stephanie Sinclair, she wasn't playing about it. She had all of her soldiers kick up to the UNIA. That and UNIA, and she made them kick into Father Divine's Feed the Hungry program. She wasn't playing. So, and that's great within itself, that they understood that we have to work together. Whether you're a professional or on the street, it's us against everybody. And I'm just praying and hoping that with the release of this film, that it reignites that philosophy in our people today. No matter what you're doing, we have to work together. Because if you don't see what's happening in the world today and understand it's us against everybody, you are a serious fool. And I would love to be your educator to fix your brain because something is wrong, you know. So we ain't going to hold you, brothers, much longer. Any final thoughts and comments that you would like to give us, please do so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, go for it. Go on, Sam.
I'm just I'm elated and grateful for you guys having us, you know what I mean, and accepting the project, you know what I mean, and pushing it and supporting it like you guys are. It makes the work, sacrifices, and energy, everything we put into this project, you know, worthwhile. It makes it rewarding, you know what I mean. So on my end, I'm truly grateful, extremely grateful, and also I'm grateful that you guys love it. For the most part, like seeing our people, you know what I mean, reactions to, you know, what was shown just thus far, because the movie itself is something completely different. Like, we got some great stuff in there, but just being able to witness the reactions to just the trailer alone, you know, it's an amazing feeling. It's a surreal feeling, and I'm truly humbly grateful, man. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all.
We appreciate you. And as Brother Kamal put in the chat, he said Dr. Julius Garvey saw the trailer and endorses the film. Wonderful.
My fault, y'all. I had the Ukrainian Wi-Fi. I had to get off. Anyway, I was saying that, you know, we gonna unite regardless. Because if we don't unite off of this movie, we just do the director's cut and we get some twerking, and then we get Garvey, because he could be shooting. Garvey shoot at us. We'll make it like Django, you know, like he'll killing us. You know, and then we gonna get everybody gonna unite one way or the other. But I got a question, right? But before I do that, we got the brother Kamal in. What's up, brother Kamal? This I share you on Thorough Black Talk.
Greetings, my brother. How you doing? Great Garvey Day.
All right. Yeah, y'all say what you want to say about the film and everything, brother. I got you on right now.
Okay, good. Hey, I just wanted to say thank God for Brother Sam, Brother Gerard, Sister Halima, and those who made this film. Many of us know that Jeff Bezos, the Zionist Jew from Amazon, is trying to work on a feature film on Marcus Garvey. Well, actually, a film on the agent that infiltrated the Garvey movement. And I for that to be the first impression in the mass media that our people would get about Marcus Garvey. And so, thank God that these brothers not only developed a film that even Dr. Julius Garvey saw the trailer of and endorsed, but they also did it in a Garveyite fashion by getting the people involved, soliciting associate producerships for those who make a significant contribution to this project. And so I just want to thank them for the work they're doing. And I'm, by the way, historian for UNIA. And for me to be a big fan of the film says a lot, because I'm not a big fan of much of the scholarship and work on the Garvey movement. So I just want to, commend Brother Sam, Gerard. How y'all doing?
Doing good, brother. It's good to hear your voice.
Yeah. Brother Sam, do you see any fear in my eyes?
That's everybody's. That's everybody's.
That's what he said too. When Sam came on the show, he said, "Oh, I'm a little nervous." I said, "Wait, hold up. You said in the trailer, you ain't got no fear. Now you
That's
nervous."
that Garvey spirit, man. That's what it does to you. That Garvey spirit.
That's right. And inside his body, he's gonna have the power of a lion before it's over with. He invoking that spirit of Garvey. He also often invoke the ancestor spirits, but and chant them out, like Sister Keisha was saying about Brooklyn. I'm going to tell y'all one day a little history of the Brooklyn UNIA.
Okay.
As well as Harlem and some other places. But there's quite a few hip-hop legends that have strong affiliations with the Garvey movement.
Wow.
So coming out, including my man Fab Five Freddy.
Okay. I never knew that. Wow.
But anyway, I just wanted to, again, to commend the film, ask everybody to go out and, show support. Lottie Dottie, everybody. Go out there. I'm talking about the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. Go out there and support that film.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
We can have it done in our day and time. I got to worry about, another project to be collecting money and nothing ever happens. We will make something happen. And the only thing that's stopping is us. And that's pretty much all I wanted to say.
That's right. Appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Brother Kamal. Thank you so much. I just want to say we are absolutely dedicated to making this movie, getting this movie made. We just us and the producers just have an issue sometimes asking for help because we're just so self-reliant. We're so used to just getting it done ourselves. You know what I mean? So that's just how we work. But we did see that opportunity and realized how in keeping with the spirit of Garvey and his movement it would be to open it up and allow people to actually contribute and be a part of helping make this come into fruition. How powerful that could be. So it's, it's all good.
The part that I love about it too, like I said last week, is when I found out that it was independent, that made me love it even more. But, that's just carrying the torch of the spirit once again of Garvey, because he was also huge on independent media. We always talk about independent Black media on our show here, Thorough Black Talk. This is why we do it. We don't ask for donations or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? All we ask is for people to share their information and let's build as a community. But independent Black media is something that's needed, and it definitely has to be funded, because when we don't have independent Black media, that's when we get watered down, whitewashed Black perspectives, or they'll just tell you a whole different perspective, put a whole spin on it. Like the brother said, like I said before, they'll highlight the story and make the whole story about the goddamn downfall of Garvey or the agent or something like that, like they did with the Fred Hampton movie. So independent Black media is very important, and that's what Garvey was doing as well. Of course, he had the Negro World, his newspaper that he was pushing out, and he was also writing in his own paper. He was also a writer in that paper. I think he used to put something on the front page of every copy of the page of the newspaper. And Brother Sam, from what I hear, you actually wrote the screenplay, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's powerful right there.
Double gangster.
That's carrying on the spirit of it right there. And I know, brother, I asked you, but were there certain things that you learned about Garvey from writing it to also acting and engaging on that level that you didn't know about before?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the question. I think it's my connection.
I said while writing and also playing Garvey, I'm sure there was some things like was there something that you learned about Garvey from doing that deep dive that you never learned about him before, something that you just found out while you was doing this writing and playing the part?
I think I heard you. You asked what did I learn during the process of the production or writing the script that I didn't learn before, that I didn't know before?
Yeah.
Oh man, thanks to Brother Gerard. I learned a lot. even like the most simplest things, like him and Amy had nicknames for one another, Mopsy and Popsy. And so like things like that. I think and Gerard, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of trash on the internet about Garvey. You know what I mean? So it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to decipher which is accurate and which isn't. You know what I mean? And thankfully, I had Gerard that got me through the process of making sure the things that were in the script was authentic and it was real. You know what I mean? I can't say it was real and authentic. So just like I think learning more so of Garvey's his the inner Garvey, not just what is out there portrayed, as but more so like man, like where does his inner strength lie? You know what I mean? Where could it be found? Having this queen by your side, how much does he, just considering the fact of how effective or powerful she is within the movement. Just knowing, also that was one big thing too. I didn't know prior to the film. I didn't know how significant she was to the movement. You know what I mean? I know. Also, what's the Gerard, the character that you actually added in the script?
Henrietta Vinton Davis.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about the Black Cross. I didn't know about the Black Cross. I didn't know about her.
Nurses.
So like it's a lot, man. It's a lot, and thankfully for Gerard, man, he was very informative. It'll be days on set he'll just bring up like random new facts that I'll be like, wait, what? Even with the okay, another example. Of course, I knew about the Pan-African flag. I knew who had created it. You know what I mean? But I didn't know what sparked that creation. I didn't know about the and you talked about it last week, Gerard, about the minstrel songs. You know what I mean? And what inspired Garvey to do it. And so like things like that, like it's so much that I didn't know, man. And I'm just so grateful because I learned. But I'm grateful too because between you and Alima, y'all made sure that the right story was told, and you know what I mean. And it wasn't the truth was told, but it I think we did good justice to it. You know what I mean. You made sure that it was truthful. You made sure that we told it the right way, and in a way that the people will feel it, and be impacted by it. So man, I say it's so much I learned. I can't even go. I kid you not, it was so much that I learned that I didn't know. Like I said, there's so much trash out there on Garvey, you know, and yeah.
Yo, bro, I want to ask you too. What did it do for you personally? You know what I'm saying? Because I know, like, having to embody that spirit, you know, having to really dive into, like, it's one thing to be an actor and have to dive into a character, but you being an actor diving into Garvey, like you said, like, you know, you had to find his inner strength and things of that nature. So, like, I mean, Garvey's situation, his life story was a very lonely one. I mean, he had, you know, his wife and his queen and things of that nature, but just being somebody that's fighting for a whole race of people, when you got people in your own race that's fighting you, you know what I'm saying? That must have been a lot for you personally to sit back and be like, damn, how would you feel? Like, you actually stepped in his shoes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how did that feel? What was that experience for you?
Oh man. So for starters, I'm the type of actor, like I want to, like I mentioned before, I was praying. I prayed to Garvey. I prayed for a spirit to be in me. I prayed, like I wanted it all. I wanted the full experience. I wanted to, off the research I did do, and I learned of how he lived, like how he would eat the same meal every day, how people think that he had all this money, but him personally, you know what I mean? He made do off of the little he had. So I tried my best to live in those same circumstances. So yeah, I did. I ate the same meal for a while. I ate the same meal for a while.
It was a jerk chicken, was it?
He didn't even eat chicken, Brother Ashe. I don't think he ate chicken. I remember reading in the book Garvey and Garveyism that he had a problem with eating chicken because it reminded him of Black people being captured. When he saw chickens in a coop, yeah. It's a very powerful book, that book, Garvey and Garveyism by Amy Jacques Garvey.
Right.
Brother, you talked about meditating.
I want to say something. I'm sorry.
And like even
I was just gonna say, what did it feel like when you actually had to say the same words?
Yeah.
Feel those words.
Meditating. Oh shoot, yeah, man. That Shay mentioned, like he was like, man, you said you were nervous, but then on the like, do you see any fear in my eyes? Like that's not my words, you know what I mean? Those are what he would say, you know. So his words would take you, you know what I mean? His own words, his own, you know, it would take you to a place where you like, all right, I'm about to go there. And it was a oh my God, man, I'm still trying to articulate that. It was like stepping out of my body, you know what I mean, and looking at myself from a third person, especially like those speech scenes, and I'm saying his words, and I'm seeing how even just the actors are reacting to what his words are doing to them. And so many times where they were Caucasian, I'm gonna bring back the Caucasian actors. But remember the first scene that we did, there were just people just in the auditorium that were Caucasian, and you know, in my head I'm like, oh, they're gonna hate me for this, they're gonna ignore me, they're gonna da 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 da. But they would turn, they were so profound just by his words, and they'll turn and listen, you know what I mean? And it's that spirit, like it'll take you away. And so many times I had to oh my God, remember the speech in the courtroom, Gerard?
Yeah, let me set that up.
Oh my God.
One of the restraints, one of the things the judge that let us use the courtroom was a little hesitant to let us use it. And one of his things was he didn't want there to be any verbiage that disparaged the court system. Is how he worded it. Mm-hmm. And so I looked at so they came to me and was like, so are we changing anything? Hell no.
So I think those were lines from Catch Me in the Whirlwind, and for that last final speech. And so, but remember when after doing it, you know, and that last take, me putting everything into it, and I had to take a moment to where I had to come back into myself. You know what I mean? I had to separate myself And I'm not gonna lie, during that period of time leading up into production and going out of it, I was in a dark space because I was putting myself in those circumstances. Like, here I am, I'm trying to stand up for Black people worldwide, and here is the, you know, the government or the system trying to break and tarnish, you know, what I've been trying to build. And so I put myself in that mental for real. And I was in a dark space for a little minute to where, you know, I wasn't communicating in my personal life. I wasn't communicating with distractions or people like, so I had to take that time to come back to myself. I think one of the biggest revelations was, and I told you, Gerard, was when I was in the courtroom and I'm sitting across from the judge, and I'm like, here it is. Like, I knew me as Marcus Garvey, I did all this, you know what I mean? So many ambitions and dreams I have for this movement and where I see our race going. And here it is. It all comes down to this moment, to this Caucasian man trying to decide my fate or destiny. And I had a moment like, damn, like all I wanted to do was just change the world. You know what I mean? All I ever wanted to do was to progress our people, you know, and to be for the people. And it has gotten me to this moment to where it's all done. Brother Ashay, I took it there. I went there. It's quite an experience, man.
That's amazing.
It was definitely Garvey. And I think everything that I prayed for, everything that I prayed. Huh?
No, go ahead, bro. Finish your thought.
Everything I prayed for, I got it. I wanted his spirit in me. I wanted him to move me. I wanted his word. Even while writing the script, I prayed and I asked that those were his words that came out on that page. You know what I mean? And I got what I asked for because I definitely felt it, man. I definitely felt it. Definitely. And just to the fact that, like, Dr. Julius Garvey can watch the trailer, you know, and just be, that's, I almost cursed, I'm sorry, but that it's crazy. Like, that is just crazy, you know, that is just crazy. So that's how I know, like, I know that's Garvey behind it, you know what I mean? I know his hands are on it, along with God's, but it's Garvey's hands is on this project. And yeah, I'm done.
So I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna put it out there in the universe. The African Village and 100 Blacks in law enforcement who care. Y'all might have to rent out the theater again for this one. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there in the universe. That's all. Didn't want to cut your wisdom, my brother.
I don't know where we and what's going to be happening, but let's put it out in the universe that we can get out there to that screening too. How about that?
Yes.
Hey, real quick. I'm sorry. Well, you finished, Gerard? I don't want to cut your wisdom. Real quick, I just want to say this real quick that a lot of people don't cover. Brother Gerard, I haven't seen the movie. I only saw the trailer. But real quick, a lot of people don't know that at UNIA meetings, it might have not happened 5 times, but it happened more than once. People wind up getting killed when Garvey was speaking. And, you know, and nobody snitched, and for whatever reason, the person died. You know, nobody seemed to have gone to jail or been accused of murder. So that's another thing that a lot of people don't understand, that, you know, the struggle at that point was real. Mm-hmm. This is before they had MK Ultra and all of the mind control mechanisms that the United States and its intelligence agencies employ today. So I just wanted to put that out there. Mm. And thank y'all again. Thank y'all. I can't wait to see this.
What the brother Sam just said, man, that just made my day right there, man. That made my day. The brother, when the brother said, I prayed to Garvey, oh my God. I said, Black power, God damn it. Because that's what we do. You got to pour that water, do that libation, you feel me? And really embody that role and that spirit. I mean, being an actor is special in its own right. You know what I'm saying? Because we forget the metaphysical level of it when you get in the spirit. Like, you dealing with your spirit. You putting yourself and your frequency in a different frequency just for a character. Like it's no fake play stuff with that. Like that's real. And like the spirit of African people, we always invoke spirits. You could go to Ifa Nigerian ceremony right now, or you go to Ghana and they do their Khan ceremony. They invoke their ancestors, and that's exactly what this brother did. And he didn't even do it like on a level like I know this is a process. I got to do this. This is what they say you got to do. The brother did it naturally. Like, let me do it genuinely. Let me make sure I'm taking on this the right way, because it's not about him, and it's not about, even though I'm sure this is like a dream come true role for the brother, you know, at the same time, it's like a responsibility to it where like genuine people want to put something out that people are really going to feel, you know. So I know y'all put your heart, your soul into this. And that's why you got Thorough Black Talk, me, Tad, Keisha, and our brother Blacksmith. We're going to go hard and champion it for y'all, man. We just going to keep pushing it. Any connects that we got, bigger platforms, things of that nature, we could get y'all connected and have interviews to get this little 22. I told you, I like that number. That 2222. We got to, that's palindrome energy. That's big energy right there. So that's nothing, man. These people, they pay for somebody that a real devil to get released from jail. 222. They pay that like 22 times over. So for us to come together and say, I ain't buying no Jordans this week, I'm sacrificing for the greater good. We're going to get this movie out. And it's not even a sacrifice because we getting a return on our investment, you know, in many different levels. We got to really do some grassroots. So a lot of people that watch our show, y'all support us, whatever. A lot of people, they can't find a position or what they could do, how they can contribute to the movement, whatever you want to do. This is one way that you could contribute. Something small, start small. Help with the funding, help with the putting a word out, promotion, whatever you can. This is literally not just entertainment. It's really like I said earlier, embodying that spirit, carrying the torch, you know, of grassroots work. You know, let's really do this. Y'all got an opportunity right now to help these brothers and a sister, everybody that's working on this. DigiBees, shout out y'all, to really come together and make this happen, bring this to fruition. So put your boots on, lace up, and let's get this work. Let's get this. I wanna see that money, you know, instantly. You know what I'm saying? I want to see that money rising up so we could get this movie done and get the theaters packed. You know, we want to have screenings and make it work, man. People need to see this. I really appreciate y'all, man. I felt like we could go on all night, but you know, we had y'all on. You could come back on whenever you want, because I got a lot more questions. I came in late. I got a lot more, but I know we're gonna build and keep the connection. But is there anything that y'all want to leave the people with before we get up out of here?
I do. I want to thank y'all so much for giving us this platform. We literally saw. We definitely got a few more funding, more supporters directly after the show or during the show last week. So I want to say thank you so much for giving us this platform, giving us the opportunity to spread the word about this film, and we just really appreciate your fire about the film. It's I don't want to say it like it's a burden, but there's definitely a weight on us to be sure that we presented an image that was honorable to everyone that was portrayed. And it's just such a blessing to see the response to it, and overwhelmingly positive response to it. It definitely makes us feel good to know that we were, to feel like we're on the right track. You know what I mean? We there was a moment of real doubt. We just wanted to make sure we were just forging the right path, if that makes sense. We wanted to make sure we crossed every T, dot every I, try to make sure we, as far as we could with the knowledge that we had, and as much as we could with the resources we had, we wanted to make sure we could give the best image possible of this movement. And I'm just glad everybody's so crunk about it, and we're excited to finish it and get it out there in the atmosphere. Sure.
Same. Same. Oh my God, so much support since that trailer release, man, and I'm overwhelmed, to be honest. I'm just grateful, man. I didn't, truthfully, and this probably be your first time hearing me say this too, Gerard. Like, truthfully, I didn't know what the the backlash would be. You know what I mean? I didn't know how much support we would receive. I just wanted to honestly and genuinely tell the story of the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. And now just experiencing it and being here, you know, this is reality. This ain't, you know what I mean? People, everyone, you know, you guys' support, you know, man, gee, it's surreal. And I'm just grateful. I can't say it enough. I'm just grateful, truly grateful. I appreciate y'all so much for accepting the project and accepting us and just being supportive, man. Let's, thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you. Just thank you. 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 Thank you.
We thank you. And again, family, the link is in the chat. It's in going across the screen right now. Shout out Sister Aminettu. She said this show is the best. Thank you, Brother Gerard and Sam, for your creativity and the beautiful effort you're putting into this amazing film. Thank you, Thorough Black Talk, for another awesome show. Love y'all, Black Power. We love you too as well, sis. As we said, this is the community drum. We could be doing a whole lot of other things. Brother Ashe can tell you. Our schedules are extremely busy. We don't play around. And also follow Solid African on YouTube with Brother Ashe as he do on the ground interviews with Black-owned businesses here in the community. He's always highlighting various businesses because that's what we do. We also always say our mantra here is to promote one another. I don't have to like you personally. That's not the goal. Like we said, we never met these brothers before, ever. But it's critical, and particularly this time, that we support each other. You know, even Brother Blacksmith. I've been watching Brother Blacksmith for many years, and watching him do various things. And I thought it was my duty to bring him on the platform, you know, to keep him consistent because information is key. You cannot win without information. Information is the blueprint for everything that you do. As Brother Sam said, you know, he prayed to Garvey, embodied Garvey. That's something that I do whenever I give a lecture on anyone that I do. I pray to them so that I can embody and tell their story. When I'm doing research, I hone in on that personality so that I can portray that information to you all so that it is palatable to you, so that you can be able to receive it. We will definitely continue to share this film. Shout out to Sister Alima. Can't leave the sister out. You never leave the queens out because then you're going to fall. I'm going to tell you that right now. When you leave out the queens, you will fall. And I know she's been working heavy. DigiB's in the building. Whatever y'all have going on, this is your home. And you just hit me up. Y'all got my number. Whatever it is. Keisha, we getting ready to do so-and-so. Hit me up. We got you. No problem.
Shout out to Pocket Brown, Danielle Pocket Brown.
Yeah.
Let's say that name in the atmosphere. Got to put it out there.
Once again, family, for people that's just tuning in, we are here with the producer and the actor of this new movie, Mosiah, based around the life of Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Once again, if you're just tuning in, the trailer is online. The film is not yet complete. All right, family? So there's no date yet. It's not 100% complete. They are still working on the film. This is why we need y'all help. All of us as a community need to come together. Check out, we got the GoFundMe on the bottom of the screen right there. What is it? GoFundMe Mosiah - the movie right there. Please make sure y'all check it out. Share the link, DM it, text it, email it, write a letter. I don't care what you got to do. Make sure people get this information, family, so we could raise enough money and these brothers, because they shouldn't have to worry. My brother Sam should have creative freedom to do whatever, not have to worry about nothing. The producers, the directors, they should have these devils out here. They get access to anything and they make foolish ass movies. They make some idiotic goddamn movies out here. You know what I'm saying? So if they could do it, then we need to have a movie out here that's actually powerful and meaningful to us, family. So let's stop playing games, man. If y'all really about this life, this RBG, Black Power Revolutionary, make some sense. I always lead the show. I say true courage is knowing how to suffer. That's a Haitian African proverb. It's about sacrifices. Make sure you sacrifice, family. Your little money, your little eating out money, you don't have to eat out every day, family. Put that into the GoFundMe. Let's get this film made. I want our brothers and our sisters on this project to have total creative freedom and not have to worry about nothing. They can make the best project that they can. And they're going to do that regardless because the ancestors already ordained it. So it's going to happen regardless. But it's up to us to make sure that they are more comfortable and make it happen faster. I can't wait. The anxiety is killing me. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to see this movie. I got my popcorn ready, my vegan seasoning on top with the popcorn and I'm ready to get right, family. All right, so stop making me have to wait. I'm ready to get right. So I want to see this film, but make sure y'all go to the GoFundMe, like I said right there. Donate. Put your money where your mouth is, family. Black Power. Brother Sam, you got anything in closing? You said thank you. Please make sure like I said, we shared the link. We will be in touch. Anything y'all need, we family, like we said. Tag, Keisha, Blacksmith, whatever y'all need, we on deck. So y'all just let us know.
Just have to make sure to let y'all see that I broke out my black hoodies in solidarity.
Welcome to Brooklyn.
Black hoodie gang.
I got my tight hoodie on. I got my black Air Forces.
Welcome to the BK. Welcome to the BK, for real. Again, thank you, brothers, for tuning in and joining us. We definitely appreciate that. And again, you got our support 100% in this project and others that, Brother Gerard let me know that he's working on as well. Shout out to the DigiBees family. We got to make sure that production company continues to grow because as they grow, and I want our family to really hone in on what I'm saying. As they grow, we grow. That's why I'm always promoting. That's why we do this here. Because as everybody grows, Thorough Black Talk grows. Even in our personal lives, you don't know how much things have shifted in our individual personal lives. And yet we are still here. We are still standing because what we do is ordained. Period, point blank, period. So salute to you, brothers. We love you. We appreciate you. And definitely we're going to keep pushing this. We're going to keep pushing it for real.
Yeah.
Salute, family. Salute. Peace. Brother Blacksmith, your final thoughts.
My final thoughts is go donate, support. Anything you can do. You don't have to necessarily donate money. Pass the links on. If you see these brothers or you get get in touch with anybody connected, pitch in however you can. I always say before we leave each other to love and respect each other. My name is Blacksmith. When I'm with my New York people, but on Facebook I'm Flavius Jones. Y'all can check out my blog. It's www.goodchiba.blogspot.com and look me up and let's do something. Let's further the Black family, y'all. Peace and love to everybody on the panel. Peace and love to everybody in the listening audience. Peace and love to those who see this as a recording. I'm out.
Brother Ashe SJ.
Yeah. Once again, tell a friend to tell a friend. It's your brother Ashe SJ, man. I'm just excited. Before we go, do y'all brothers have any pages or anything anywhere we can follow? Does DigiBees have a page? Do y'all have other pages like social media where people can follow y'all and learn more?
Thank you. Yes, we have the Mosiah the movie. Mosiah the movie is our Facebook and our Instagram handles for the movie itself. And then there's DigiBees. It's DIGIBEES is our handle for Instagram, and we're on Facebook as well. And my personal one is PB It's photography by PB Girard J. So it's PB JIRARD. That's my handle on my Instagram.
And for me, Instagram Samuel Lee Fudge, Facebook Samuel Lee Fudge as well.
That's what's up. All right, yeah, my brother, see, he got his brand down packed. Just the government, you know, my boy is gonna be. I'm telling you, he getting it. Already see the greatness in y'all brothers, man. But yeah, any way we can support, we definitely will be on deck. Like I said, man, yo, true courage is knowing how to suffer, family. Let's get this thing going. I'm really excited. Yeah, Sam and Gerard, y'all definitely gonna be hearing from us. I'm gonna pass on any connects and links that we have to keep this thing going. Any ideas? And listen, family, like we said, Sam wrote the script. He wrote the screenplay. It's coming to fruition now. So Keisha said, where y'all grow, we all grow as a community. Look, we probably got somebody watching right now that's in the writing or in the acting or something, anything. Want to be a production assistant? You never know. They might need some work on the set. Y'all might get a little job, you know, start off free, never know. It'll grow into something big. You know what I'm saying? But we all work together. It's a lot of people. We in New York too. It's a lot of people. You talk to somebody walking down the street, they into something. You know what I'm saying? So this is what the importance of us connecting as Black people and sharing what our talents and our skills are, because we can all build the same things. You know what I'm saying? You never know. It might be a young actress or actor listening to this right now. I would love to see a movie about the Renaissance. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. You know, I would love it. There's so many other ideas that we could bring in and bring forth. So, you know, just keep in touch, man. Keep in touch with DigiBees and the whole family, man. Let's just keep growing and building. It's your brother Ashe SJ. Remember, the battlefield is where you stand. Signing out. Sister Keisha.
Again, as my brother said, continue to share the link, the GoFundMe link. Please continue to share the trailer. That's your homework assignment. Here on Thorough Black Talk, we like to give you homework assignments. So that is your homework assignment. Just share the information. Please, please, please. You'll be surprised who will pick it up and donate. If not just that, but just giving it a word is very, very powerful. Like I said, I mentioned it last night. People are excited about it, and just from the couple of weeks that we've interacted, people online are enjoying the trailer, and we definitely want to make sure this film happens. Let it be known that Thorough Black Talk is the Black Drum. We meet here every Thursday evening, 8 to 10 p.m. on the Brooklyn Bridge. It goes down. We do it on the Brooklyn Bridge because for those of us born and bred here in New York, in particular Brooklyn, we don't play about this bridge. You come across that bridge, as Lil Kim says, you better have that pass when you cross that bridge. So to bring people on the bridge is serious, serious business. And the Black family here in Brooklyn in particular, we definitely need this film. If not us, then who? If not now, then when? Continue to win as a people. Remember, before your mother knew if you was going to be a boy or a girl, if you had all 10 toes or 10 fingers, if you came out with both ears or no ears, she knew one thing was certain, that she was giving birth to a Black child. Keep it in that perspective. Let us continue to win. We out, y'all. Good night.
Yeah.